Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Mobility and Fall Prevention. Hopefully we are energized and ready for a great workout today. We want to make sure that we have some water available to us. I got some delicious French press coffee just off of the screen here. I'll be sipping that from time to time. And we're going to have 2 light to medium weights as well when we do some upper body work. And then whatever we feel comfortable in terms of medium to heavy weight, we're going to be opening those hips and getting those legs strong. So let's go ahead and start. We're going to start off with our opposite elbow to that knee as we're marching. We're here for about a minute. 3, 2, 1. Getting that knee up, body pumping. Hopefully we're having a wonderful day, creating our own sunshine just in case it might be cloudy outside. Keep it up. Moving throughout the day, not just here. We want to get that NEAT going, that non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Maybe that's moving, doing commercials, whatever it might be. The more we move, the more that blood circulates. And good things happen when blood is circulating. Keep it going. We have 2 seconds. Oh yeah, we made it. Good stuff. So we're going to get our thoracic lunges going on next. We can be behind our chair and we're going to step back with one leg. That hand stays planted. We open to the opposite side. Returning to standing. So I'm now stepping back with my left leg. Left hand is grounded to the chair. Opening up. Back and forth. Keep it going. I can definitely tell I had some coffee for that heart rate a little faster. I'll try to not be more energized than usual, unless you want me to. Keep it coming. We have 15 seconds. So I'm usually a tea drinker, but every now and then I like to do some coffee, and I am partial to quality over quantity and time. Good stuff. So I like to do a French press with, well, I'll stop talking about coffee. All right, so let's get our hips back, and we're going to do our side steps. Getting ready. Creating that space. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Again, hips are back. That chest is lifted. If we have a band, we're always welcome to put it on at our knees, at our ankles, or even the balls of our feet for this one. Just make sure we don't bring those feet too close that we lose that tension. Again, trying to stay low as we feel comfortable. 25 seconds. But if you do like coffee, the most nutritious kind is actually a lighter roast because that caffeine hasn't been cooked out of it. There are more antioxidants in it. And if we can get beans that have been grown at higher altitude and under the shade, they're even more nutritious. Excellent. Let's do our zigzags next. It's very similar to our side steps. We have our hips back, where we're going in and out, forwards and backwards. Here we go. For some Americans, and probably other people in the world, if our diet isn't very nutritious, coffee can be the highest source of antioxidants and polyphenols. So coffee is nutritious, but like I said, I'm usually a tea person, partial to green tea, which those catechins are very helpful as well. 22 seconds. Keep it coming. . 12 seconds. And we made it. Good job. Nice. Let's get our balance check-in with that tree pose. Let's have that same side grounded that is holding on to our chair. That other leg is lifted again to the floor with that heel near the ankle, maybe both grounded to the leg or that calf, or even higher on our leg if we want. Finding that balance. Deep breaths here. Always welcome to let go of that chair, extend the arms up if we want to. Keep it coming. 19 seconds. Finding that wobble. And seeing if we notice just that, those minor contractions in our feet, in our legs, that motor control firing. It's not something we're actively engaging, but it's just where our muscles contract. Great job. It's nice to have both voluntary and involuntary muscles. We think about our heart. If we had to think about making it beat all the time, we wouldn't be in a good situation. So getting ready. Let's do the other side. Here we go. Finding maybe some symmetry, or noticing if things are a little asymmetrical. And that's okay. Bring awareness to that fact, and then feeling free to work on that asymmetry. Out of our sessions, or outside of our sessions here, if you notice one side's a little weaker, a little tougher, doing some things on your own, where you do that harder side first, then the side that doesn't give you as much trouble, and then once more, doing that more challenging side. We want to be cognizant of our words that we use, not saying something is a bad side or a good side, just maybe I don't have as much ease on one side. Great, we did it. Let's get that water. More coffee for me today. And yes, I'm filming this in the morning. So, we're going to start off with our lower body today. And we want to make sure we have an option of using a weight for this. We're going to do our lateral lunge and our reverse lunge. After that, we're going to work on our single leg deadlift, where we hold weight in the opposite hand of the leg that is grounded. And then we're going to go medium to heavy, holding on to our weight with our goblet squat, but we're going to hang out for about 5 seconds before we stand up. All these will be for a minute, and we'll move on to our upper body. So, you do, like I said, have that option to hold onto some weight. The first set, I'm not going to. We want to make sure we are mindful of our environment. We know what is behind us and to the side of us. So, a lateral lunge, we're going to step out to the side, and we're actually going to do it where the leg that stays planted is straight on our lateral lunge, and the leg that steps out, that knee is bent. We'll return to standing, and same thing, so that my left leg is grounded, I'm stepping back into my reverse lunge. Bending of the knee is optional. You can keep it straight, or you can lower a little bit further down. So let's get started. Let's have our left leg rounded to start. We'll be moving with our right leg. Getting ready. 3, 2, 1. So we're stepping out, bending that knee, returning to standing, stepping back, our reverse lunge. Now I'm going to show that lateral lunge here. We want our hips back over our knee, stepping back into standing, and stepping back with the reverse, returning, continuing here, out to the side, returning to standing, stepping back, returning to standing, keep it going. We're always welcome to hold on to that chair as much as we need to. We can be here as we step out, that reverse lunge, whatever we need. Keep it going, 6 seconds. And we made it. Let's get that reverse lunge just to keep it even. And then we're going to switch sides. So getting ready for that lateral lunge. This time the right leg stays grounded. We're moving with the left. 3, 2, 1. Out to the side, knees bent, hips are back. Returning to standing, stepping back. Knee as low as we want or as high as we want. That knee straight. Lateral and reverse. So again, it is lateral and reverse. Out to the side and back. Good job. Keeping it up. 20 seconds. Feeling that blood pumping, that heat, that energy. Finishing that last round, a reverse lunge. And we made it. Nicely done. So, we're going to get our single leg deadlift going and challenge you to hold on to some weight. It can be that light to medium, maybe even we're feeling heavy today. So I have the weight in my left hand. We're going to have the right leg grounded on this first round. And we're still going to use that chair as much as we need to. So we have our right leg grounded. We're inhaling on our way down. We can use that chair at the top and the bottom to keep myself in line. We're inhaling, bring that torso towards the floor. This knee is slightly bent and is not locked out. And we're exhaling, coming up. And inhaling, down, exhaling up. As we feel comfortable, feel free to not use that chair. We can have our arms down by our side, and as our torso comes forward, they stay down that whole time. And that knee slightly bent, it just helps us get a little more knee stability, and we use our glutes and our hamstrings a little bit more as well. 2 seconds, one more rep. Awesome job. So now we're going to switch hands. Having it in our right hand, that left leg is grounded to the floor. And we're thinking, just to reiterate, as that torso drops, that leg in the rear lifts up with it as best as we're able to. Getting ready. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. We're inhaling, coming down, using that chair stepwise fashion. The top of the chair and the seat of the chair. Let's think about that rear leg for a moment. We don't want to just hang out. Let's think that we're also standing on that leg. So there's energy through our heel, which helps us engage our glutes even more. Nice. Doing great. If we fall out of it, just easing ourselves back in. Because the balance is hard. But the more we practice that balance, the better we get at it. Last rep. And time. Fantastic job. So, what we're going to do next is our goblet squat. Now, if we don't have something heavy, we can use our chair. I'm going to demonstrate it first, where we're holding on and we're going to stay low for 5 seconds. and then squatting up. So it's about dropping our hips down and then standing back up. So getting our heavier weight, and I'm going to count it out when we're down for 5 seconds. That's going to help open up our hips, our ankles, and then we're going to stand up strong. So if you feel unsteady, definitely use that chair or try for some weight. The weight helps us counterbalance those hips. So that's a great opportunity to add more weight if it's available to us. And honestly, with more weight, it's a little easier than with lighter weight. That's why I'm not using these lighter weights here. So let's get ready. We're holding it in the center of our chest. Inhaling, coming down. We got 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhaling up. Nice and strong. Squeezing those glutes. Inhaling, coming down. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhaling up. Quads and glutes tight. Inhaling down. 2, 3, 4, 5. Coming up strong. Yeah. Back down. 2, 3, 4, 5. Up and strong. Quads and glutes. Front of those thighs and that booty. 3, 4, 5. Coming up. Staying with it. Almost through. 2, 3, 4, 5. And we made it. Good job. Let's get a sip of that water. Doing great. So, like I said, got my coffee here. And I'm feeling warm, feeling that heart rate. So some people are faster metabolizers of caffeine, some are slower. So if we think about our sleep, which is a huge component, we maybe not want to have too much caffeine later in the day. That's going to keep our heart rate elevated, and that prevents us from getting better sleep. So just something to think about. You can always talk to your doctor. Let's do our lateral and reverse lunge. So I'm going to demonstrate it with weight on this one. We're going to have our left leg grounded. We're going to step out with our right leg. Now, we can do it either with it down by our side or racked. I'm giving you a lot of options, or in the center. I'm going to start off with it down by our side. Let's get in position. 3, 2, 1. So I'm holding my weight, stepping out to the side, dropping down, keeping my chest up still, and then stepping back. And I have it on the side of that leg that's in the rear or to the side. Nice. Keep it coming. Next up, I'm going to rack it here. So that helps keep our chest lifted. Nice. Looking good. As I say that, looking at my reflection, not able to see you all, but I know you're doing well. Keep up the good work. Almost through. Good. Now, I'm going to have it in the center. And it's very similar. And we made it. Good job. Let's switch to the other side. So, we got that same premise. This time the right leg stays grounded. We're moving with the left leg. Getting ready. 3, 2, 1. Stepping out. That stays down. Returning to standing. That reverse lunge. Out to the side. And you can do either. Whichever feels most comfortable to you. If you like it down by your side, or if you like it racked up high, or even in the center with both arms. Each provides a different element. Being mindful of our movement. almost through. Nice, and time. Good job. So we're going to go back to that single leg deadlifting, where let's this time have the left leg rounded first and the weight in our right hand. Getting it into position. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Inhale, using that stepwise function of our chair, or not using the chair. But think about those hips being squared to the front. So I'll demonstrate that. Straight ahead. So you can notice my hips are pointing down to the floor, as opposed to what can sometimes happen here is people will get a little wobbly and my hips are pointing to the side. We're trying to remain like railroad tracks. A nice straight line, hips pointing forward while we're standing, and our hips pointing down while we are hinged forward. Great job. Let's switch. We'll have the right leg rounded now, and then the weight this time is in the left hand. So I'll demonstrate both again, from the side and then from the front. Getting ready. 3, 2, 1. Again, using that chair as much as we need to. I'm a big fan of the chair for our single leg deadlifts. It adds extra points of contact, up to 3, where if any of us rock climb, or maybe rock climbed in the past, that's our best formula. Our legs do so much of that rock climbing, and having 3 points of contact keeps us safe and prevents us from tiring out faster. It's about efficiency, not just trying to muscle our way up a wall. And the same thing applies here. That chair is our friend and provides us a strong base of support. And last one. Good job, we made it. Nice. So we're going to use that heavier weight, working that goblet squat. So we'll either use that chair like we did before, helping us drop down low, and notice my arms are extended when I hold on to that chair. It's similar to having a weight here. It's that counterbalance of the hips going back. All right, I'm going to do it from the side just so you can see it's about my hips dropping down. Getting into position. 3, 2, 1. Feet are about shoulder width apart. Drop them down. We got 1, or actually 3, 4, 5. Standing up, squeezing glutes, squeezing quads. Inhaling, coming down. We got 2, 3, 4, 5. Coming up. Squeezing. Inhaling. 2, 3, 4, 5. Coming up. Thighs and butt tight. Inhaling down. 2, 3, 4, 5. Coming up, staying with it. We got 2, 3, 4, 5. Coming up. Again, thighs and butt tight. 2, 3, 4, and 5. We did it. Good job. Let's get that water. We're going to transition to our upper body. Nicely done. So getting a sip just to stay hydrated. Water is crucial, lubricates our joints, and it helps our muscles too. If we are even 1% dehydrated, that can start a path of not thinking as clearly, not being able to perform movements as well. So staying hydrated throughout the day is one of the best things we can do for ourselves. So we're going to start off with some shoulder taps. So we want to find that place where we can support our whole body. We're going to be weight bearing through our arms, and what we're also looking here is our core stability. So we'll be at an angle, either on the floor, and I'm going to demonstrate it on the floor, or using that wall, using our kitchen counter, using the height of our couch or a chair. And I recommend 2 chairs being up against something that's not going to move, because this is a narrow base. If we have 2 chairs next to each other, that's a little more surface area for us. So what we're looking is to make sure that our hips don't come forward or back as we alternate our taps. And another thing too is we're not bringing our hips side to side too much. So let's get our shoulder taps on. The wider our feet are, the more surface area and more support. So if that's something we need, definitely taking advantage of that. All right, getting into position and feet nice and wide, that core is braced, meaning if you're expecting a punch, you want to press out. You don't want to suck in. You're just pressing out gently. Okay, we're in that position, and we're going to bring our opposite hand, or our hand to our opposite shoulder, back and forth. Trying, again, very little movement of our hips, of our pelvis, and trying for slow movements of those arms. We're not rapidly moving it, we're slow and controlled. Using that breath. Keep up the good work. We're almost through. And we made it. Great job. So now we're going to go into our hinged row. And we're going to use our lighter weights. And we have the option of using our chair. But we want to be on the edge of that chair. I'm also going to demonstrate it standing. So if we have our weights, let's think about bringing our hips back until we feel that stretch in the backs of our thighs, our hamstrings, and then bending our knees a little bit here. We're working on our torso towards parallel, does not have to be. And then bring our head back, we're going to squeeze our shoulder blades up. So I'm going to set my timer. Don't want to do exercise and not get credit for it. Here we go. So, nice and tall, hips are back, bending my knees. And you can sit in your chair here as well. Taking an inhale, or exhaling. Keeping that head is back. Inhaling, lowering. Exhaling up. Squeezing those shoulder blades. Staying strong. Almost through. And time. Good job. Setting our weights down, we're going to work on our forward punches. So we're working our hips, we're working our arms and our chest here. We're going to have our left leg forward, our right leg is back, And initially my hips are kind of 45 degrees to the side. I'm going to have my left arm up in a block. Taking an inhale, I'm going to exhale, bring my left arm back as I bring my right arm forward, and you'll notice my hips are now pointing straight ahead. So we're inhaling, exhaling. Let's keep it up. We got about a minute here. So our arms are moving at the same time. As we bring one arm back, the other one comes forward. As you feel comfortable, you can add a little more power and speed, but focusing on, so right now my right palm is up on its back, and I'm rotating it as I land that punch. And we can think about an imaginary foe that helps us get a little more out of it and not thinking we're just punching the air. So this is a great exercise, both in strength, but also power and technique. Good job. Let's switch sides. We're gonna have that right leg in the front now, left leg's in the back. Again, my hips are side to the side. My right arm's up in a guard, my left arm is back, that palm is up. Taking an inhale, nice and deep, exhaling. Again, focus first on that technique. That is the most important thing. If we're doing something wrong, we start to practice it, we're not going to get better at it. Practice doesn't make perfection. It's perfect practice that makes perfection. So we don't want to ingrain those poor habits or technique. Let's add a little more gumption to it. So as you want to move faster with that punch, that other arm moves back just as fast. And speed and power are important in all ages. That helps us keep our muscles strong, but also our reaction time fast. And we made it. Good job. If you want a sip of water, feel free. We're going to repeat that cycle. So we'll get our shoulder taps back in. So let's find our space, our wall, our counter, our couch, our chairs, and making sure it's stable, it can support our weight. And we're really trying to minimize that movement or hips side to side or forward and back. So what I don't want to see, I'll use the chair here. Sometimes people are like this. They have their hips too far back. We want them more in line with our shoulders and our ankles. So be mindful of that. Know if that caboose is sticking out. Let's get ready. We're finding that position. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. So a little tap, tap, tap-a-roo. I'll give you 5 points if you can name me what movie that is from. It's a comedy and a sports movie. Tap, tap, tap-a-roo. It's from the 90s. Again, keeping that pelvis as stable as we can. Core is braced, meaning we are meeting that imaginary punch that's coming in. We're not afraid from it, bringing the core in as if we're running away. We're going to meet it. That just helps protect our spine. And we finished it. Good job. So we're going to go back to that hinge row. And I'm going to do it seated this time. So it's very similar. We want to work towards getting our torsos parallel to the floor. So I invite you to bring your hips as close to the edge of the chair as you feel comfortable. And feel free to keep standing if you're doing that. So, it's all about leading from our chest. We're inhaling, hinging forward. If we're standing, it's our hips back, then our knees are bent. Good. Taking an inhale, exhaling, squeezing those shoulder blades back. Staying strong. Keep it going. Okay, keep that head back, squeezing those shoulders. And we made it. Great job. So we're going to go into our punches. And we also have the option to use some weights here. I'm going to demonstrate it with some weights this time. So these are 2.5 pounds. These actually go in those handles you see. Adjustable dumbbells are really handy, but only do this if you feel comfortable. If you have 1 to 2 pounds, maybe even like a protein bar or a snack bar, just a little extra heft, nothing too crazy. So we'll have our left leg forward. Again, that palm is up in the back. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. We're exhaling, coming forward as we round those hips forward. And if you follow sports or someone in your life likes sports, you might know that most of our power comes from our hips. So if I just come here moving my arms, my hips are staying still, not a lot is happening. When I rotate, so much more power. Baseball, golf, disc golf, everything is about our hips. So I'm going to reference that same movie. It's all in the hips. It's all in the hips. Who says that? Keep it up. We're doing great. 8 seconds. And time. Well done. We're switching. That right leg's down in the front. Left leg is back. Getting ready. 3, 2, 1. So again, that palm is up in the back. It rotates such that the palm is down as we come forward. Want to slow it down, really think about that technique, we're welcome to. Or if we're feeling that sense of speed, also welcome to do that too. And we made it. Great job. So, one of my favorite things about the transition from active and moving is that mindfulness that we get to connect with our body. So, we've been having all this blood moving around. I mentioned caffeine, so your heart rate is already a little higher than normal. And when we sit still, it invites us to go inward. So let's do that for a moment. Let's have a seat, finding the back of our chair, closing our eyes. And sometimes this can be uncomfortable. A lot of us in the modern age, we're going. And it's nice to just be for a little bit, to check in with what stillness actually is. So not trying to control anything, our breath, not thoughts. It's take a minute just being here. Getting to deepen that breath. We can open our eyes once more and connecting with what that was like. What did our mind think when we weren't moving too much, when it was left to its devices of wandering, the thoughts come into our head and we chase those thoughts, or we let them go just like clouds in the sky? Whichever we did, all that's okay. It's just a fun exercise for our mind. Let's scoot our hips closer to the edge of our chair, getting our feet nice and wide. We're going to inhale, lifting that chest up high, and we're going to walk our hands down as we hinge forward. Notice how I'm still keeping my head up. I'm stretching my low back here. We do a forward fold, but keeping our head up helps to prevent from some balance issues. Sometimes if we drop our head, it can aggravate that vestibular system. But you can also check in with it, getting it parallel to the floor as we look down. And just listening to our body, noticing if this is near the precipice for us, or if it's tolerable. And you can always, as you feel comfortable, lower your head, and you can always lift it back up. Let's start to work our way up. And the reasoning is, if we challenge ourselves like that, it helps to improve it. So our vestibular system, as a child, we're hanging upside down, we're rolling, we're doing all these things that as an adult aren't as okay to do. And that lessens the reflexes of the vestibular system, and it's not as strong as they used to be. So yoga poses where our head is upside down or stretches are actually helpful only if we're not experiencing symptoms. So it's a good way to challenge it, but you can also aggravate it too much. So just listening to our body. Let's bring one heel forward. We'll do it from the side. So one heel is forward, we're inhaling, lifting tall. We're going to stretch those hamstrings on that forward leg. Same premise, we're leading from our chest. We're not rounding our back, but trying to get that hinge working. Good job. Inhaling, lifting back up. Let's switch sides. So what was in the back is now in the front. I'll turn around facing this way, a little easier. So inhaling nice and tall, hinging forward. Deep breath cycle. Good job. Inhaling, lifting up. Bring our feet back down. Let's stretch those hips a little bit. So we can have our leg here. If we can get it above our knee, we want to definitely try to. Just some gentle pressure on the elevated leg to stretch our hips. Working on that external rotation. Letting gravity do its job, or if we want to hinge forward a little bit more. Good job. Inhaling tall, exhaling the leg down, and switching sides. Again, inhaling up nice and high, letting gravity do its job, or assisting gravity a little bit here. good stuff. Inhaling, lifting up, setting our feet down, scooting our hips to the edge of our chair. Inhaling, lifting tall, and exhaling, turning. Let's turn to the right as our right hand is on the back of that chair. That left hand is just resting. We're inhaling, lifting up, and lifting our arms up. Exhaling, twisting a little bit more, setting our hands back down. We're being mindful of not using our arms to twist, which can aggravate any sciatic pain or create sciatic pain. One more time, inhaling taller, lifting our arms. Exhaling, twisting a little bit more. Good. Turning to the center. Inhaling nice and tall. Exhaling, twisting to one side. And set our arms down. Inhaling, lifting our arms and our torso taller. Exhaling a little bit more. One more cycle. Inhaling higher. Exhaling, twisting deeper. And relaxing. Great job. Let's find the back of our chair once more. And that heart rate is a little slower than before. Let's focus on some deep breathing here. The rise and fall of our belly into our chest and in reverse. Thinking about, say, ocean waves, this continuous cycle of our breath, the crest and the trough of those waves. Thinking of other similar cycles in nature and in our life. Staying with this thought and intention as long as we want to. 5, 10, 15 minutes. Let this be our mantra, per se, where if we find our thoughts wandering, bring it back to these cycles in our breath. Thank you all for joining me as always. I'm Ryan. Light in me recognizes light in you. Namaste.